Mission: Impossible – Fallout. Where does Tom Cruise's action entertainer stand in the six-part series? 6 films over 22 years, each more grueling and more high-stakes than the previous one. You've got to wonder how Tom Cruise does it. It's a hit-and-miss franchise, the MI series, yet you can't help waiting to see what leaps of faith and otherwise Ethan Hunt makes you participate in with every new outing. The latest in the franchise, Mission: Impossible – Fallout. It is this sort of film that will make you look back fondly at the series if you're a fan, because this one makes it seem like Ethan Hunt and the man who plays him have both been genuinely pushed to their limit. Here's a look back, then, to see where Fallout stands in the series. 6. Mission: Impossible. Second, John Woo's actioner just hasn't aged well, despite some iconic stunts and action sequences. Tom Cruise struts about with a flowing mane, but it's a bit of a yawn fest from the plot perspective. Limp Bizkit's song remains the most memorable thing about this film, even though Bollywood still shamelessly turns to it when they run out of ideas. I'm Looking at You, Dilwale. 5. Mission: Impossible – Ghost Protocol. Right from the way Tom Cruise's entry scene in this film has been staged, to the Burj Khalifa stunt, to even the India pandering with Anil Kapoor's presence, everything about this film now seems like one big gimmick. That's not to say that Ghost Protocol doesn't have its moments. Jeremy Renner breathed a bit of gravitas into proceedings, and Cruise sunk his teeth into the action. But this is this sort of film that couldn't win an established franchise any new fans. 4. Mission: Impossible 3. This is the one film in the franchise that was misjudged when it came out. I was guilty of it myself. But Fallout puts MI3 into perspective in some ways, anymore, and I'd be venturing into spoiler territory. Ethan Hunt began to look tired by the time the third film came out, and the vague rabbit's foot that Hunt is chasing through the film didn't inspire any interest. But Philip Seymour Hoffman is magnetic in the film as the villain, and under J.J. Abrams the series itself took a turn towards being grittier and edgier. These, combined with what happens in Fallout, make MI3 a good film to return to. 3. Mission: Impossible – Rogue Nation. Tom Cruise dangled outside a plane that takes off for the opening sequence of this film, and that set the bar for the rest of it. Benji and Luther came into their own in this one. Rebecca Ferguson's British double agent Ilsa Faust kicked some serious ass, and the series became self-aware under the stewardship of Christopher McQuarrie. It upped the humor, upped the action, and introduced a new vigor into the world of Ethan Hunt. Rogue Nation is this sort of action film you can keep going back to or pick up any time in the middle while switching channels on TV. 2. Mission: Impossible – Fallout. The latest film in the franchise had me beaming. It has the best action of the series so far, without a doubt. In fact, it's probably more action-heavy than any other film in the series. But Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie finally seemed to have a grip on a franchise that so far had no defined idea other than the fact that Ethan Hunt is a bit of a nut job with a flair for the impossible. Now, though, he's someone you can care about. Henry Cavill effortlessly increases the production value by his mere presence, and the ecosystem around Hunt step up and make it count. They riff on the fundamental premise of the impossible mission, while also keeping you on the edge of your seat right to the very end. The latest is the best film in the franchise, bar one. 1. Mission: Impossible. The first film of the franchise still remains the gold standard in terms of plot, and to think it all boiled down to retrieving one disc. No one knew what to expect of a charming young Tom Cruise as Ethan Hunt, and the intricate plot wasn't particularly user-friendly. But that was the joy of it all. It made you care deeply about that one drop of sweat, and that's when you knew you had not just a winning film, but a killer franchise. From pens that squirted stuff to eyeglasses that doubled up as a camera, to even that thrilling train top climax, the first film had it all. Brian De Palma's I was so cool, dark and stylized that to this date even the trailer of the film will thrill you. Updated date, July 29, 2018, 9:46 a.m. Tags